Hi everyone, I'm Astro Beam, and this is Square One, Season 2, Episode 1. I'm here at Spawn, and obviously this isn't what Spawn looked like when we started the server a month ago, but I'll get to that in just a second. First, I should probably address this. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you're probably already noticing something that has changed, and that is the sultry sound of my voice. My mic used to sound like I was talking from the bottom of a Pringles can, and like not even like a clean Pringles can. It was like a can of Pringles that I literally just finished eating, and there were like still some crumbs left in the bottom, and it was just bad. But now, instead of a Pringles can, I have an actual microphone, and I'm sure you can hear the difference, hopefully. I did some test recordings already, and it sounds pretty good. But yeah, new mic, feels good. But like I said, the server has been active for a month already, so I'm a little late with this video, but I figured the best first thing to do here would be to try to get you caught up on what I've been up to for a month. So I'm going to show you around Spawn, I'm going to show you the base I've been working on, but the first thing I want to do is, as you can see when I press tab here, I have the number 4 next to my name, and that is my death count. So that means that I've died 4 times already, and unfortunately I wasn't recording, so what I've had to do is go back and reenact all of my deaths. I've tried to get them as accurate as possible so that you don't feel like you missed out on anything, but we've had to rely on, eyewitness accounts to recreate the footage, so we tried to get it as accurate as possible, but you'll just have to take my word for some of the details. But anyway, I'll roll the clips here. My first death was a bit of a run-in with some zombies while I was caving. There seemed to be a few zombies in that hole. But let me just mine this one coal ore here with my wood pickaxe. Oh no! No! And as you can see, that was just unlucky. Totally not poor play on my part. Definitely not. My second death was actually a little bit of poor planning on my part. I tried to take on a skeleton in the middle of the forest at night with an enchanted bow when I was just a little bit underprepared. Look at that skeleton over there in iron armor. I think I'll pick a fight. Hey, buddy! And as you can tell from that clip, that could have totally gone either way. I was just a little bit unlucky. I'm gonna blame the lag for that one, honestly. My third death was totally not my fault at all. I was just minding my own business, destroying a tree to get wood, and I jumped out of the tree into the water below to safety, but the water block that I was supposed to land on somehow turned into grass right before I landed on it, and I died. Oh, I seem to have mined myself into an awkward position here. But I could totally make it into the water, right? And I think we can all agree that that death was totally BS. And of course, my most recent death, if you put enough time into a Minecraft world, it's bound to happen eventually. I got creepered. Wow, I love my base. It's so peaceful around here. Huh? So, there you have my first 4 deaths, recreated as accurately as possible for your viewing pleasure. Next thing I want to do is just take a very brief walk around spawn and point some stuff out. First, I'll just mention that we picked the jungle for spawn this time, and that's mostly because we're playing in 1.12 and there's parrots, and everybody wanted to get parrots. But nice. I see that there's some important discussion going on in game chat right now. But you know, also the jungle has this nice, pretty green foliage, and the terrain is a bit more challenging than building in, say, like a plains or something like that. And also it has kitties, so I mean, really, why wouldn't you want your spawn to be in a jungle? And as it gets to night, you can see how cool it looks at night with like the lights up inside the trees and stuff. But I'll just walk around and point out a couple of the key buildings here. There's an auto fisher that Arn built. Down this tunnel there's a skeleton farm that Jeff built. This is a community storage building for people to donate their extra junk for other people to use. Toady built this, making really good use of the new glazed terracotta blocks, I must say. And those two patterns go really well with the jungle colors as well. So nice job. She also did the landscaping around here, which you could probably see in one of her videos. Continuing on here, that's Starflash's spawn house. It's really cool looking. Dr. Yu built a mini game right there that involves bows and arrows and shooting buttons and stuff that looks really cool, but I won't show you that now. I'll save that for a later episode if I actually get to play it. There's the nether portal. Looks really cool, nestled in that little crevice back there. Here we have the post office built by Mellotron. So basically, if there's something in the box, the light above it lights up. And so I don't have anything right now. Looks like some people are getting some goodies though. Just being nosy. Here's a map. This is actually a map of the entire world right now. And where you can see this fuzzy edge around here, that's where the world border cuts off. So right now the world border is 3,200 blocks square. And also, as you might notice here, spawn, which is in that jungle right there, is actually in the corner. And obviously that's done with commands, but we wanted to set spawn, we wanted to have spawn in the jungle for sure, no matter what. But it was really hard to find a seed that had all the biomes that we wanted and all the, you know, generated structures and stuff within 3,200 or 3,000 blocks square. So we decided to go with this seed and put spawn up there instead of trying to find another seed that had a jungle in the dead center or something like that. There's the JPEG house. Gotta love it. Really, I do. It's great. And then down here is the first thing that I built, first community thing that I built. I have like this weird habit of pressing tab, like when I'm not doing anything else in the game. I gotta like not do that when I'm recording. But anyway, I built this zombie grinder, which was one of the first XP farms we had. And cheater codes helped me a little bit with the lighting and the water streams and whatnot. But basically it's just one of the standard ones where the zombies go in, they go up a water stream, drop down the required number of blocks to make them one-hit kill, and then you punch them to death or sword them to death. The drops go in there, and Bob is your uncle. And somebody was nice enough to put a zombie villager head up here. I know in this patch zombie villagers don't spawn from zombie spawners anymore, so they must have got that somewhere else from a wild zombie and brought it here and put it there, so that's pretty neat. And then I think that's all I wanted to talk about in spawn. We have, you know, your basic crop farms and animal farms and whatnot. A lot of people have built some spawn houses. I built a little spawn starter shack thing, but it's not really anything special, so I won't bother showing that. And yeah, I guess I'll head to my actual base and I can show you what's going on there. The nether's still a work in progress, so I will skip that part and get back to you when I get back to my base. Alright, and here we are. We arrived just in time to see the sunrise here. There needs to be like the Lion King theme song playing right now. I'm not gonna sing it, but it's perfect. But anyway, welcome to Astropolis, which is the name I've come up with for this build. As you can see, I've got a decent amount done already, but there is a lot left to go. I'm like not even like a quarter of the way done, I don't think. But first, before I run around and show you everything, let me talk a bit about my inspiration or my my plans, I guess, for how I want this to be. So as you might be able to tell, my building style here is influenced a lot by like Art Deco architecture, which is a movement that was around in like the 1920s, sort of ish, a little bit in like a little earlier than that, maybe a little bit into the 30s, but basically that era. And a lot of the buildings had like these really strong vertical shapes, and like they had like a strong sense of like mass. Like the buildings looked really sturdy, like you couldn't knock them over easily. I always really liked that build style in real life, and so I wanted to try and incorporate some of that into my build here, and also a little bit of this art style that was coming out around the same time in the 20s, early 20s through early 30s, which was called neoplasticism, or Die Stil. It was like a Dutch art movement. The two main guys, well, the main guy that everybody's heard of, at least everybody who went to college for art like me, is Piet Mondrian, and I'll show you something in a minute that you'll instantly recognize. And the other guy is Theo van Doesburg. If you're at all interested in this, Google that. But anyway, so you can see these like patterns. They're just like these geometric patterns of rectangles, and they use like primary colors mostly. And I'm straying away from the primary colors a little bit, but it was just an art style that used these like geometric primary colored simple patterns. And there's like a whole philosophy with it too, but I'm not really going to get into that. But anyway, I just really like the look of it. I think it looks really cool, and it meshes well with the Art Deco build style, so I'm incorporating some of those types of like patterns into my builds here. I know I'm starting to ramble a little bit here, but I'll just mention a few more things in terms of inspiration for this. So the art of MC Escher, specifically like his really complicated and confusing drawings that involve a lot of staircases and bridges and stuff. I really want to have all of my walkways and staircases and stuff be really overly complicated and confusing and disorienting. So that's kind of what I'm going for with these stairways that kind of like lead in all different random directions and overlap and stuff like that. And then the other thing is there's this science fiction silent film from 1927. It's called Metropolis. If you haven't heard of it, it's German, but I mean there's no like dialogue because it's a silent film. There's the title cards and whatnot, but anyway, it's worth checking out if you're into like weird old science fiction and stuff. It's pretty cool. But anyway, obviously the name Metropolis sort of inspired the name Astropolis, which is what I'm calling my build here. Aside from that, I also did a build on a previous server a long time ago that I called Rectangle Square, and I'll put a couple screenshots on the screen right now, but it was a lot of the same sort of similar style, and that's like probably still is my favorite thing I've ever built in the game, and so I just kind of wanted to take the challenge to like sort of outdo myself and do something else in that style, but this time do it even better with all the nice colors with the new concrete, and just try to outdo myself there. So that's what I got going here. I'll walk around and show you a few of the major buildings. A couple things I'll skip over just because they're not that interesting or whatever. Hang on. But anyway, there's the nether portal. You come up here. This big blue and orange building here is my storage room. And as you can see, this floor here is another one of these patterns I was talking about. This one's inspired by a specific painting by Mondrian. And I just did standard storage room, just manual. There's no hopper, like sorters or anything like that. I just put all the stuff in the chest by hand. 2 stories. I plan on building a separate building for smelting and one for potion making also. I just heard a rocket. That was weird. I just heard a rocket. There must be... I just heard another one. Oh. If it isn't somebody, it's Fredo. What's he doing here? Being a little snoop, that's what he's doing. I might have to stop recording for a second. Okay, I'll be right back. Fredo just stopped by. He's just flying around, checking things out or whatever. But anyway, where was I? So the storage room, that's a major build. A lot of these are just farms. Like that's a beet farm, that's a carrot farm. This was my original hidey hole where I dug in to start, you know, hiding some chests and stuff for when I started the base, and I ended up sprucing it up. I got 1 bird so far. Don't have a name for him yet, but I plan on getting a few more. This is just a chicken cooker. Got a potato farm here. And as for down here, there's not really too much to see yet. I've got this little pond here that was naturally generated. I added the waterfall and the lily pads and whatnot. And I have done quite a bit of terraforming actually around here. The savanna plateau terrain can be a bit wonky, so I just wanted to smooth some stuff out. But yeah, so we got this little pond here, and then I have this path that leads down to where I have my mine set up right here, but there's nothing much else back here yet. That is the back of my cow farm, which is reached via a different walkway. I'm hoping with this base, especially when it's finished or close to finished, I'm hoping that it'll just be like this crazy, like, overlapping, intersecting network of paths and staircases and stuff that you like just don't even know which way you're supposed to go to get anywhere. And I know like that sounds stupid because when people come here to like visit me or whatever, they're gonna get lost, but that's kind of my intention, and I hope it works out. So I got an automatic mushroom farm here, not the biggest producer ever, but I mean, how often do you really need mushrooms anyway? Same thing with my singular automatic cactus thing. This is a chicken drowner instead of a chicken cooker. That's going to be for villager trades, which I don't have set up yet, but you can trade raw chicken with villagers. This is an automatic sugarcane farm, which you already saw from far away, but basically it harvests on a daylight sensor once a day, and it's building up over time. I might build a like large scale sugarcane field that will be manually harvested to get like major large supplies of sugarcane for when I do start trading with villagers. This shaft here is actually reserved for my beacon beam. I don't have one of those yet, but stay tuned for that. And then here we have my cow farm. This is just the one where, you know, you got your cows in there, you push the button, the cows jump up so you can breed them, and then the babies all go into that chamber there so you can just kill them. And then this is my carrot farm, which is the last thing I built. And that is pretty much it as far as the base goes, but the general look and feel I think is really coming along, and I'm excited to do more. Like the long-term plan is to like delete this entire mountain and replace where the mountain was with buildings and stuff. So eventually that'll be like this big like stacked up cityscape thing that like takes up approximately the same amount of space as the mountain. Pretty big undertaking. probably even bigger than the UFO last season. Actually, I'm sure it is bigger. But I'm looking forward to the challenge and like where it's going so far. So yeah, I think that's all I want to do in this episode. It's probably going to be somewhat short and kind of talky and not really any excitement happening, but next episode we'll do some more exciting stuff. I have big plans. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.